and welcome to episode 6 of the WBBL review. I mean, it's been an incredible week in the WBBL this week, with teams making some moves before the deadline for signings. Durham have signed Jasmine Julia. Oakland have moved to sign Melita Emmanuel Clark. But no other team has had the change in the last week that Leicester Riders have had. The big departures of Cup MVP Kate Oliver and Sarah Hinrichsdottir. And of course, with Ella Clark's netball season starting as well, that is a big hole in the Leicester squad. But they've moved quickly and they've signed Amber Smith and Maya Brewer. Okay, but the deal that had social media buzzing during the week, however, was the return to basketball of Azania Stewart. And I am delighted to welcome Azania as episode 6's special guest. Azania has played across Europe and further afield, representing GB at the 2012 Olympics. She's won a silver medal at the Commonwealth Games in 2018 and has 101 caps at international level for GB. So I am talking to GB royalty today, and I'm delighted to welcome her to the show now. We'll start with the news that's got kind of British basketball buzzing this week, and that's obviously your return and signing for Leicester Riders. So just talk us through how that move came about.
Well, it came about randomly. Basically, they've lost a lot of key players over the last week and really quickly. And Hannah Robb is on their team, and she's our rookie for our Great Britain team. And I've been working with the Great Britain team as the COVID coordinator, but I also practice with the girls just to, help people out. And, there's we're in mid to the end of the season and bodies are tired. So I just practice with the girls, and I just felt like I had it in me a little bit. I was like, oh, could I still play? Like, I do really well with them, and just really enjoyed it and got that feeling back. And then, but in my head, I was like, I'm not going to call out to anyone or reach out to anyone, and nobody knows that I feel this way. So I just kind of, had a great time with the girls. They, we played out in Latvia, and then I came home. And then literally 2 weeks later, they tried. And it's because Hannah Robb, who's on that team, said, why don't you give Azania a call and see if she would come and join us? So they know my situation. Obviously, haven't played for 3 years, and I still have it, but I'm out of the game. So they've been really good with me and speaking about moving forward. How can I help them? And they just really need a veteran presence in practice and in the game. So yeah, really excited, really. So they randomly were like, yeah, so would you like to come out of retirement? I said, just give me a few hours. Let me see if I can sort some things out. And I said, yes.
It's obviously meant to be, though. If you're thinking it and then they're thinking it, comes together, doesn't it?
That's what I thought, because nobody knew how I felt. Obviously, my teammates and even my coach were just like, Z, you look good. Like, you sure? And, but yeah, so I guess it's stars are aligned. So here we go, out of retirement.
If you don't mind me asking, why did you retire in the first place?
Well, I felt like my body was really just kind of wearing down, and I didn't have the love for it anymore. And I felt like if you don't have the love for it anymore, then you cheat the game, and I wasn't going to do that. So I said right at the beginning of the season, this will be my last season, and kind of I recommend anyone who's thinking about retiring or not feeling that same way, that you do it early, so you can really like have your Vince Carter or Kobe farewell. Okay, I'm no Carter or Vince or Kobe, but you really get to enjoy those last moments. And when things are tough, you can be like, you know what, Z, it's the last day, like this will never happen again. Just enjoy it, and you take all the fruits out of it. So, and also I was, where I was in my life, I was, 29, 30, I wanted started family and all those things, and lots of situations have changed. So for me, I'm happy to give it a go again. And where this team is at, they're at a really great place in the league. They're a successful team, and I could really help them with my IQ or knowledge of the game.
Yeah, so on the kind of official release of the signing, I saw you say that kind of the pressure's not as much because of how kind of settled and set up Leicester this season, unbeaten in the league, just won the cup. Is there not a pressure to kind of keep that up, keep that going? Would you
Yeah,
feel that?
there's, what's the cringe saying? Like, there's no diamonds without pressure. Like, this, what you you want the pressure, you know what I mean? But for me, I'm saying in the fact of for my own self, I don't have to prove anything. I don't have to come here and I've told them I'm not going to give them 20 points and 10 rebounds. That was never me as a player anyway in my heydays. So for me, it was more just telling them what I could do and try and keep them on this track, as they've lost a lot of key players why they've been so successful. So okay, I'm not what they had, but they've done really well to get a few key pieces in a really short window. And really have to give it to them, because yesterday was the last signing period, so they went ham and just made things work and obviously get me out of blow the dust off the shoes. But yeah, I don't know. I just think they're in a good space and they're trying to keep that going. But a lot of things are going to change for them, obviously, because it's a kind of a new team, but they're core. And I watched them play Oakland last a couple of days ago. Really lovely team still. They're young. They run a lot. I'm not sure I can keep up with that, but they're really good. I think I can really help them. They have shooters. Their game is really good. So yeah, I'm excited. I left there because I had a lot of emotions. Like, am I doing the right thing? Is this just a sporadic thing, or like, do I feel good about this? Is this the right decision? And seeing them play really solidified this is the right decision.
So you mentioned Hannah Robb, obviously the links with the GB team that you've been working with. Do you know a lot about any of the other players?
So I knew Ella Clark. Obviously, she also played. Who else? Holly. I've also had a few speaking with the national team. Yeah, there's a few pieces that I know of. There's a lot of young. I think there's a girl, I've never met her before. Her name's KJ. I watched her play and I was so real young buck. I think she's really young, but really is raw. But I was really impressed by her, tenacity and working hard and hustle play. So I know a fair few of them, but they're very new. So to me anyway, I haven't really played in the English league for a really long time. So I know players around the league, but not a lot on this team, no.
So you've obviously played in many different countries across your career. Kind of any big highlights of your career so far? Like, where have you enjoyed playing the most?
Two places that I loved playing. One where I retired at was in Latvia, was TTT Riga. Played Euro Cup with them and got them to the Euro League. So that was amazing and just a really nice, well-rounded organisation. And then who have it down packed of, basketball and pleasure is Australia. Like, nice. You play and you go to the pub and have a drink. Fantastic. You go to the beach after, like, that's where your recovery is. They have it really down nicely. And so I really enjoyed my time out that way. So yeah, and I met some great friends who are still, part of my life today. So yeah, Australia and Latvia, I would say, were my favorite. And then obviously winning the silver medal in the Commonwealth was really the cherry on top of my retirement, because I got my 101 caps for Great Britain, the silver medal, and then I won the Latvian League championship. So it was just, all these things were like just aligning for me. So yeah, really, I've had a really lovely career and I can't really complain, just kind of really enjoyed, I don't know, 16 years I think I played, 6 years pro and a fair few years. But I know everyone's like, oh my God, you're retiring, like how old are you? But you just know. But hopefully coming back, everyone's saying like, oh, so after the 2 months are you going to play? No, I can't get that far ahead. I'm just going to play the 2 months, enjoy the last part of the season, and then we'll see what happens.
I mean, you just mentioned the Commonwealth Games there. I've talked to Nicolette and Drew Lasker, who's on the men's team, obviously, for that competition. And just they speak of that competition and that kind of experience of being in Australia so highly. Um,
Yeah,
Kind of, it must
it
have
was.
been a special experience.
Yeah, it was. It was great. And for me, it was quite a hard experience because I was already in season and I didn't commit to the Commonwealth Games because I didn't know how far I was going to go in the Euro Cup. And so then once we had finished that tournament, I kind of last minute jumped on and said, yeah, I can commit to this. And it was crazy. Like I literally left, I played a game, I flew out straight to Australia. I didn't have any preparation time with the team. I literally met them in Australia with probably like 2 or 3 days before game day. So it was and the competition was weird. Like, it wasn't a regular like tournament style. It was kind of like pools, and then you switched over, and then you went to a different city, and then you came back, and it was difficult. So, but it was so fun, and it kind of Australia put on a really great tournament and competition, and just overall, it was a wonderful experience, and it gave me Olympic feeling. And my dad got to come; he travelled with me, so that was really lovely. But yeah, it was great, and for us to win the silver medal was amazing. Like a really great experience to go into a game knowing that win or loss, you would win a medal is the weirdest feeling because obviously we were playing Australia and they were strong. They had all their class acts, so it was like, okay, potentially we're not gonna win here, but we're winning at the same time, but we just went out, played hard. Nobody goes into a game just to lose. But yeah, you go into a game knowing even if we lose this, we go home with a medal. It was a really lovely experience.
I always find that strange because like the bronze medal match, the person who wins that gets a bronze medal. They're probably happier than the team who finished in second because they've
Right.
lost the match to get there. But yeah, I know
Yeah,
what you mean.
that game is difficult because obviously you just missed the medal, but that first and second game is a real treat. So really good experience, and it's already, I think, 3 years. This April, I think, will be 3 years since that game.
You mentioned kind of having that Olympic feel. Obviously, you've had the Olympic feel. What was the London 2012 Olympics like for you?
I was thinking about it the other day. I wish, well, not now, but like when I was getting ready to finish it, I knew everything I knew now then, like because I was young. I was straight out of college. I don't even think I'd played pro yet. And because I was looking at that interview that Jayan did of me to release that I'm coming to the Riders, and it was like I averaged like 4 points and 2 rebounds. It's like, is that like what? Those are my numbers? Like those sound awful, but I was still so young and young in the game, but the overall experience was like unbelievable. To play at home, I thought London put like just a spectacle of everything. Like they did so well, the travel, the fans, all the arenas, like the village, everything was amazing. And I felt proud not only to be British but also a Londoner. For it to be at home, all my family and friends to come and see me play. And yet again, on paper, we didn't win a game, which sounds so crap. Like, well, you didn't win a game, but all those games were so close. We lose to the silver medalists, France, in overtime by I think like 2 or 3. It was a hard tournament, and a lot of lessons were learned for me. But overall, for that experience, that can never be taken away. I'm always an Olympic. I'm always in that moment in the record books, whatever you want to say. So yeah, really a really great experience. I loved it.
I mean, we can't have a chat, or anyone can't have a chat at the minute without mentioning coronavirus. Like, how have you found the last 12 months?
I found it harder this last lockdown.
Yeah.
So I started my first lockdown in America. I was in Denver, and then I came here in May, and then I tried to go back, and the travel ban was on. So I've been stuck here since May. So I felt I landed, and it was when people could meet in the gardens and the weather was nice, and I felt all right. I was doing all right, like just trying to stick with it. And then we started work again, and Yeah, it was all right. And then this last kind of lockdown with no kind of date in mind, only now that they've said, April's and June or whatever. June 21st, that everyone's buzzing about,
That's it. That's it. That's the day.
And I found out that football's on. England, I think, plays Czech on the 22nd.
Right.
So we carnage. And I will be there. So, but yeah, I felt like a bit like I'm really a bubbly person. I'm friendly. I put a lot of time into my friends and my family. And it's been hard because if you have to meet for a walk or you can't go into people's houses, and I've struggled with that because those friendships are really a big deal for me. So I think also going to go play right now, especially in March, is important for me because I kind of get that sisterhood again, that feeling of like a team, and kind of I feel like that will really help myself because I had that when we went to GB in the beginning of February in the window in Latvia and in Turkey. I kind of really needed that and loved that, and that's what I've missed about the game. On top of that, was helping me get through the pandemic. So yeah, it's been all right, but I would say this last couple of weeks not so good.
It's such a weird time. I mean, I think when it first started, I mean, I work in a school, and I thought, oh, 2 weeks, Easter holidays, and then we'll be back normal. And then obviously we're still kind of in different bubbles and all sorts. Now it's just such a strange time.
Yeah, and I feel bad. Like my niece is 16, and like as adults, we're struggling with our emotions and mental health and like figuring out what's good for you, what's not good for you, and we're adults. You know what I mean? Like, so kids who don't do this or don't do that or you can't see that is, I feel for them because they don't really fully comprehend it. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like everyone's going through different struggles and journeys, and nobody's issues is bigger than anyone else's.
Mm-hmm.
People are losing their jobs, people are like passing away sadly, and things, it's been so negative that in your own story or your struggle is kind of internal and kind of have to fix it yourself, because everyone else, if you turn to your neighbor and say, I'm struggling with da 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 da, then they turn around and have even more or the same struggles. So it's been a real difficult time. So yeah, just trying to be supportive with my friends and my family, and yeah, it's just been weird. I'm ready for it to just
Fingers
kind of,
crossed for the 21st of June.
I know. And I was speaking to one of my Australian friends, and she said like there's no sign of pandemic right now. She's like, yeah, no, like we just live our lives. And I'm like, oh please, yes. I'm ready to yeah, to be there.
Before you go, what kind of message would you send to kind of WBBL fans that have been obviously very excited this week? What should we expect from you in the next couple of months with Leicester? And what should we expect from Leicester in the next couple of months?
Wow, that's a loaded question. That's kind of hard because I start practice on Monday with them. I'm still in London. So I think they will have to change a fair few things because their team is now, not what it was. But what can you expect? I mean, they've got a winning kind of mentality and expectations. So I don't think that will change. I don't plan to, go in there and make this big, what's the word I'm looking for? Like this big impact. It's more just what they have. They have a solid foundation, and I'm just going there to help it and to keep, stepping up. So for me, I need to see also to get back on court. I know from playing in the beginning of the month of GB, my body was going really fast. I was doing all these moves and I was like, wow, Z, like you still got it, girl. But my mind wasn't with my feet, if that makes sense. Like I was doing all these moves, but then wasn't finishing, or like I was doing all these things. And so for me, it will just be getting back into the gym and just getting the game, the flow back, and learning all the offenses. I watched them play, like I said the other day, and they have a fair few offenses, quite a lot, where with GB they only have like 4 at the push 5, so it's quite simple. So I'm really gonna have to get my thinking cap on, learn all their offenses as quick as I can. And for me, what I like to do is once I've learned the offense, I try and find where I can be successful in that offense. So once I learn it, where can I get my score from? Who am I looking for? Where can we get easy buckets from? So that's what I like to do when I'm learning an offense. And they seem to have had built an offense around a post player anyway. So I don't think it will be difficult for me to kind of get back into the groove and help them. So for me is really get them back to the finals where they've been previous years, and hopefully do very well.
Absolutely. I just want to say good luck for the rest of the season. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you today. And hopefully I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
What a great chat with Azania. She begins life as a Leicester Riders player. It's going to be very interesting to see how the change affects Leicester as we move forward in this season. Thank you again for joining me. I really do appreciate it. Keep sharing, keep liking, keep commenting, and join in the conversation as we try to grow WBBL basketball together. Join us for our weekly reviews and look out for Eva's Player of the Week. That's all for the WBBL review today, and I'll see you very soon.